Welcome to the Château. Calling this a lonely place would be as trivializing as saying the stars are out of reach. This is no ordinary prison. Rather, it is a unique condemnation, reserved for those of whom our leaders are ashamed. With the passage of time, no doubt many have forgotten my name. Nobody outside of these walls knows of my existence. I've been gone far too long. But if you were to have known me, you'd have known me as Abbé Faria. The image of the church ever haunts me. It is the reason for my pain, but at the same time, the origin of my salvation. Without the experience, I would not be who I am today, and surely not be where I am. On the first point, I am contented. On the latter, less so. You see, where I am and have been for these many years is a desolate prison on a lonely island. I never married, never had a son. There are many things I've never done. It is a long list. And to my dismay, I have accepted that this list will remain that way. Long. In fact, the list has extended over the years. All simple pleasures that you likely take for granted, like seeing the sky. Oh, just one more time. As an abbé, a sort of priest, you can correctly assume that I have contemplated the reason for my punishment. I know the story of Job. I know Joseph's anguish in prison. I am well acquainted with their misery. I share in it. And the question lingers. Am I here as a penance for my crime against the Almighty? What crime do I speak of? What travesty could equal my sentence? I will tell you, though it has no connection to the charges that put me into this cell. I was a young man, fit and strong. I was serving in Napoleon's army. Our aspirations were of liberty and country, or so I thought. I was doing well in my regiment. Some even looked to me for guidance. I was on the cusp of promotion, and my lot looked promising. We all believed in the cause. We were brothers. I still remember the morning, clear and vivid, though I would rather it might fade. We woke to find battle awaited us, and we set to work. A band of guerrillas, rebels, depending on which side of the timeline you viewed. They fought with courage, and gave us all we could handle, stealthy and brave. The battle went back and forth for most of the day until evening, when we finally pushed them from their stations. They ran. We pursued. We came to a small village, then a place I had never been and would never again return. For a time, the rebels hid themselves from our sight. We searched, knowing they couldn't have gone to any other place. I was the one who found the place of concealment, a church, an aging building constructed mostly from timber with some stone. I called inside, boldness in my tone, as the rest of my comrades circled the perimeter. "We have you surrounded now. There is no escape. Do you surrender?" I called. There must have been some discussion, for a period passed with no response. Then a man, their leader, eventually shouted back, "We surrender. Most of us are without our weapons, and we will deliver to you what remains." Pleased, I found my commanding officer and relayed the situation. "The day is won, sir. The battle is finally over. Victory is ours." My commander stared at me, then at the church. Night had fallen, and the moon provided minimal light. A few of the men had lit torches, and a chill had set in. Then my commander turned to me. "Burn it down." I wasn't sure I heard him correctly. "Sir, they have surrendered. They have little weapons." His eyes turned swiftly back to me. I saw the reflection of a torch in his countenance, fiery and angry. "Do you see how many of my men were lost in that battle? No, no, we will not be taking any prisoners today." I hesitated, never before questioning an instruction from a commanding officer. His eyes narrowed, and he stepped close to me. In a low, whispering rumble, he said, "Burn it to the ground, soldier." I nodded, but said nothing. Borrowing a torch from another man, I paced slowly toward the church. 2 other men, each with a torch, followed me. My mind raced, conflict raging, not unlike the battle that had filled that same day. I had told the occupants within the church that they could be released. Now, here I was, about to set it ablaze. And, to my everlasting shame, I did. The flame touched the overhanging roof, dry and old. In short order, the place was engulfed in a devastating inferno. I stood and watched, keeping a distance from the other men, so that they would not see the tears as they ran down my face, heated by the flame and screams from within the church. The next morning, I deserted my regiment. I knew that I could not go on living unless I devoted myself and my life to repentance. It was my only choice. It wasn't long after that I became clerk to the Cardinal Spada, a rich and righteous man. I learned a great many things from this remarkable teacher. He expanded the limits of my intellect and total frame, speed of hand, speed of mind. My connection to Spada explains my reason for being in prison. Though the secret registers will attribute my crime as political, the true rationale is greed. Weeks after Spada died, Napoleon sought the gold, and I told him I didn't know where to find it. The Emperor was slow to believe me. So, here I am, all these years later, locked in a cell with no chance at escape. I have only my books, my thoughts, and my faith. Don't misunderstand. I do not mean to complain, though I do oftentimes. I have felt a sense of divine forgiveness, a mercy for which I shall be eternally grateful. But my memory still taunts me, something that could be understood with nothing but solitary time as a companion. And I can't help but feel that my experience, my knowledge, is wasted in this cell. I have only the echoes and the rats to tease my philosophy. But more than anything, the question that has plagued my mind over these many years, days, and hours, have I done enough? When I committed to follow the Almighty, I did so expecting to give many decades of service in His name. Yet I was allowed so few, and the treasure, which I should mention, does exist, and just as important, I know where to find, could do so much good in this world. I cannot convey the amount of time that I have spent dreaming of how I would use the gold. Families, neighborhoods, cities. The change effected could be immense. Lamentably, tragically, I am the only soul who knows where to find it. Even if I were to be freed from this place, my age and my condition, catalepsy, could prevent the finding of the treasure. My fear is that it will be lost to the ages, and serve no purpose of good among the children of men. A pity, one that mocks me daily. It was this same discomfort, the same agitation, that prompted my prayer. I was pondering on my short time with the cardinal, wondering, had I helped anyone? Really, had I made a difference? My heart ached at the query, as when I thought I could not summon a clear answer. I desired, deep within my soul, like an aching wretch, to have helped just one. To make a difference for someone who honestly needed it. To be clear, I knew inside that it would not be fully possible to repay my debt, and Spada had related to me on countless instances that this form of repayment wasn't the manner of the Almighty. Just as vengeance belongs to God, so does mercy, so does remission. Still, I could not deny my desire to render service to some of his children, or at least one. I was expressing these same feelings when a breeze, an unseen melody in the air came to me. I opened my eyes to see what appeared to be words on the stone near me. I blinked, weary and unsure. But there they were, worn and faded. I had seen this stone many times before. I knew every nook and cranny in my cell, and I was quite sure these words had never been there before. But they were clear to me now. There is one. I quivered slightly at the response. From joy or fear, I am not sure. But I felt it again. I saw it. There is one. My eyes became wet, and I bowed my head in gratitude. Some time passed. Then I opened my eyelids to find the words had vanished. I thanked the heavens for the response, and I thought deeper on the phrasing. There was something that struck me as odd, something unexpected. The words were clear. There is one. Is. Not was. Is. What did that mean? What could that mean? I was here, alone, stuck for as long as breath would fill my lungs in mortality. What likelihood could there be that any work yet remained to be completed for one such as me? At this point, I began to awaken to the reality that I had been in a flat and incurable state for a long time. Years had passed since a smile had last graced my withered lips. That would soon change. As I pondered the message, there is one. It came again, the words on the stone, but this time something different. A new revelation. It was the last time I would be given direction in such a manner, and it was as simple as anything I'd ever seen. It would become my life's work from then on, my mission, my present and my future, my reason to smile and laugh as I had before. It would bring me direction and purpose. One word, 3 letters, a single syllable. Dig. Ah, yes, dig. Thank you for listening to this production of Griff's Library. If you are a fan of Alexandre Dumas, you will notice many cues from his book, The Count of Monte Cristo. You may also have caught a few threads from the 2002 film. Either way, it is a wonderful tale. Griff thanks you for listening.